Hello interwebs, how are we doing? As ever, no idea if I'm actually streaming. It says I am, but let me know in the comments if you can see me at all, or if you can hear me, that'd be even better. What can we say? What's going on in the comments? Who have we got in so far on this fine Friday evening? Is Friday? Friday? Yes, Friday. We've got Macan, Discus Keeper with his Okai Danu. Is that a standard thing now? No self-respecting Scotsman would ever actually say that, you know. Jeffrey Myers, Daryl Deemer? I've seen you in lots of live streams. I'm never quite sure how to say that, and I hate saying people's name wrong because people say my name wrong all the time. Simple Fish Life, nice to see you in again. Ken, going to be driving for the next hour or so. How are you going to watch a live stream and lurk if you're going to be driving? Would be interested in that. Michael Sullivan, thank you. Let me know you can see me and hear me. Deemer, good, thank you. Daryl Deemer, that's quite a nice name. It's got that nice alliterative value, hasn't it? Blue Aquariums, hi all, please support, much appreciated. I don't know, Blue Aquariums, feel free to post a link, we'll have a look in a little bit. Darren Carter, love all your vids about your Discus, your tank is top notch. Well, thank you very much. I can but agree, yes. So, what's going on? What are you all doing on this fine Friday evening? It might not even be Friday evening where you are, I guess. I've had a hell of a week, or a very busy week at least. It's not been a hell of a week. We've got a donation. Discus Keeper, thank you very much, pal. Towards new Discus. Do you know what? I've been thinking about that recently. All these videos that I've made recently about new Discus and Corbin Discus going to see their new Martin Ung Discus. In fact, can you even see it? There. Oh, I can't really do it. I'm so uncoordinated. That's a book by Martin Ung, which was given to me by Tim. And it's Martin Ung's Discus catalogue, and it's basically, well, it's actually, I say book, but it's more like a ring binder. But it's got lists of all the different types of Discus, where they come from, how they came about, the definitions. So I was perusing this the other day after looking at some of my own videos, looking at Tim's Discus, and he posted on he's got a group, Corbin Discus has a Facebook group, and he posted on there that someone was trying to get rid of a load of Discus, and I kind of want to get my tank stocked up because I've got rid of quite a few of the fish that were in there, and I really want to get some Martin fish. The ones that he was mentioning in his group weren't actually them, so I'm going to save my money, and I'm thinking that can be my Christmas present, is to get all my family to buy me vouchers for buying some of these top quality Discus. Now I've got no idea where to put this, bear with me. But it's got a great book. It's got loads of stuff in there about breeding, about just basic husbandry, all that kind of stuff. It's really good. So if you can get your hands on a copy and you're interested in Discus in any way, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Yes, so the more observant among you might have realised something has changed in the background. I've given up with the Discus breeding for the time being. Well, that's not entirely true. I've given up trying to breed Discus in that tank for the time being. So I've moved them down into my fish room. We discussed this in the last live stream, so anybody that was here the last time, you will know this already. I came to the conclusion that they just weren't happy because they were laying eggs fairly regularly, but then eating them even more regularly. So I came to the conclusion that something wasn't right. The water's fine. All the parameters were perfect for breeding. So it's got to be the fact that I'm in here all the time working, or the kids are in here running around and asking me for things and stealing money off me and things like that. So it's got to be that they were just not feeling secure enough being in this room because it was such a high traffic area. So made the decision, it's got to end. So these guys have now gone downstairs. In fact, I took a little video. Let's see if we can get that up. Can I manage to do that? Bear with me, caller. I'm sure I can. So this is them down in their new home for the time being. I've got them in one of my breeding tanks. It's actually the same size as that tank, it's just on its end rather than lengthways, so it's in one of my racks downstairs. They've taken to it really well. They're happy, they've started eating straight away, so I know that everything's A-OK down there. I'm hoping that they're going to just get on with their business because it's not quite as busy down in the fish room. For those of you who don't know, I've got a little fish room in my garage. I've got about 20 tanks down there, doing all kinds of things. It used to be 3 or 4 discus I had in there. 3 or 4 discus breeding pairs that I had in there, and I had lots of success from that, so I know that the setup's good. So it's worked in the past, it should work now. I'll give them a couple of weeks in there, get them comfortable, let them try again with the breeding, and if it doesn't work, I'm kind of fine with that because I think they're pretty stunning, those as fish in general. So I kind of want to give them a break, if you like, give them a break from breeding and get them into my display tank. Now obviously I've got some Chen's discus in my display tank, and these are Martin Ung fish. Got to find a better way of saying that. I can't say Ung every time we try and say it. So they are discus they're all Asian fish, but they're from different suppliers. So if you've watched any of my discus videos in the past, you know I'm quite keen on quarantining. So I like to use the sacrificial lamb method, where you take one fish from one set of stock, one fish from another set of stock, put those into one tank, give them a couple of weeks, make sure that there's no problems, and if there are any problems, treat them as you can. Hopefully there aren't any, and then you know that they can live happily ever after. And if that does work, then they'll be going in the display tank, and I'll give them 6 months off. Just enjoy them, enjoy looking at them, and not worry about breeding, and just see how we got on from there. Obviously, if you're quarantining fish like that, especially as I've only got 2 of the Martin fish, you're putting one of them up as a sacrificial lamb, and that's kind of scary. But I'll make sure I've got all the correct meds in place, ready to go should there be a problem. I'm hoping there won't be, but you never know. It's one of those things, I guess. So that's my general plan. So I've spent most of today, because I only did this, well, I moved them a while ago, moved them after the last live stream roughly, but I only reset up this tank today. So it's been sat empty, cleaned it out, got it ready, and my kind of thinking is, this is fish room 2.0 if you like. So I've got my saltwater tank over there, which you can't see, and there's no point showing you because all the lights are off. I've got my little shrimp / guppy tank here. I didn't want this to just be a plain empty tank, so if I'm going to use this as my live streaming room as well as where I sit the majority of the day, I thought I'll get them in there as well. No, I thought I'll get that all nicely scaped, and so I've spent the majority of the day watching George Farmer videos on how to aquascape and how to hardscape. So you'll see at the moment it's only got stone and some wood in there. I thought I'll get that set up for the stream. I'm hopefully going to start looking at planting it tomorrow, and then this is where you guys come in. What do you think I should be putting in there? I've got a couple of ideas, but I thought I'd ask you lot what you thought you would put in there. So let's give it a quick measure, because I can't quite remember. I'm sure it's a 2 foot. Okay. Yes, so it's 2 foot by 1 foot by 1.5 foot. you could go to aquariumadventures.co.uk and use the tank volume calculator and check how big that is. What is it, 100 litres, something like that, 90 litres? I'll check it later before I do that. So what would you put in that tank? That's one of tonight's main questions. I don't do live streams for you, I do them for me, so you can help me out. Let's have a quick look back in the comments, because I've not been looking. Mr. D's Tank and More, hello all, hello yourself. It's an Instagram page, Blue Aquariums, a Discus enthusiast. Yes, I shall definitely check that out. Yeah, Discus Keeper. I think it was even you said it yourself last week. It's just not quite right having them there, so it's better to get them moved. They're happy enough. They were happy enough. They were healthy. They were eating. They were putting on weight. They just didn't want to breed, so had to do something. You're having to swap out what you fed yours. They aren't eating beef heart like they used to. That's a bit of a shame. I've not been feeding beef heart for a while for my Discus because they went through the same thing. Have I got any around? So I don't know whether it's a common thing or not, but mine kind of go through 6-month cycles of I love this food, I can't get enough of it, and then no, I've had enough, I'm not going to eat it, and you think there's a big problem and you're going to have a big tank crash or something like that. But just swapping on to something else, they love it. So I've gone through my own beef heart, I've gone through Chen's Ditone beef heart. I really like, one of the staple foods is that Vitalis or New Era Discus pellets. They usually seem to love them, but they've kind of gone off them at the moment, so I don't know what's going up with that. I don't know whether it's a bad batch I've got, maybe. So variety is the spice of life, as they say, so switch it up and see how you get on to. Are you just feeding beef heart, or are you giving them other stuff as well? Because I tend to feed one thing as their main, and then I'll supplement it with. So if they get beef heart every day, for instance, I'll then throw in some blackworms one day, or throw in some pellets another day, or not bloodworms. I don't like feeding them bloodworms, but just switching up. The ones that were in here were going mad for flake food. It's not the best thing to give them constantly. Bear with me, that could be work phoning me. No, we're all right. So yeah, try a few different things and see how you get on. Hello everyone, Guppy Puppies, Jeff Rose, nice to see you here. Oh, I'm all out of sync here, bear with me. Killifish, now that's an idea. That is one of the things I've been thinking about, because I've never kept killifish. And I want to talk about this a little bit later, but the supply of what I can get is one of the limiting factors, and I know you can just buy killifish eggs, and they're fairly straightforward to hatch out. So I've been thinking about that. Who else have we got here? So we've got Jeff Ross, hello again. Mr. D, Macan, Killifish. Rocky's Rocky, nice to see you again. A pair of firemouths. I have kept firemouths before. Isn't it a bit small for firemouths, maybe? I don't know, maybe. Well, I'm not sure I want to keep bigger fish. I'm thinking, but I set this up today, so I'll try and give you a closer look. That light just looks really bright on the camera, but it's really not. So I'll see if I can give you a better look in a minute. But I'm thinking I want to make it a planted tank, but that hardscape kind of looks quite cool, so I'm not sure whether to leave it like that or not. I'll try and get out of the way so you can actually see it. Yeah, maybe it is too small. E-Money, Flower Horns, and 1 Cichlid NYC. That's a name and a half. Nice to see you anyway. Who else have we got? What do you feed yours? So I think I've covered that. At the moment, I'm back on the New Era Discus pellets. The Vitalis Discus pellets. See if I can find these somewhere. Bear with me. They're kind of a staple for me. Vitalis, how are we spelling that? They usually work quite well and are kind of a fail-safe. Let's see, can we get this? Now, that isn't the price of them. Well, not for that size tub anyway. I do buy the big, massive 2.5 kilo tubs, which is about that price, but that's the carton that you're looking for. Also, Tetra, the Tetra Discus pills, the red ones, they seem to do really well as well, and I'm not sure I really like them that much, but they always go mad for them, so I can't really complain if everyone eats them. It is Friday, so I'm having a beer, so you'll have to excuse me. It's been a tough week. 3 beef heart feeds a day. Well, if they eat it, that's brilliant. If they're not, then yeah, you need to think about putting it up a bit. Too much beef heart, no good. See, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, there are divided opinions in the discus community. You get your hardcore discus keepers that say beef heart and nothing but beef heart because it's got all the protein and all the nutrients that you need in there, and it is in itself a varied diet because it's called beef heart and it's got the heart of a cow, sometimes a pig, or sometimes what else have I seen, a turkey heart and things like that. But it's not just that, so it's got your fish, it's got your shellfish, it's got your vitamins, all that mixed in, vegetables, spirulina, whatever you need is all within that one food, so it is quite a varied diet. But you get the people that argue, how often do you see a cow falling into the Amazon or that kind of thing? It's just not natural. Very little about keeping fish in a glass box is natural, so I'm not sure about that argument. Pardon me. But yes, if it's a very fatty mix, then over time that's not going to be good. But if you get a quality beef heart, or if you make it yourself, then you know it's going to be good. So make your own decisions, I guess. Killifish are awesome and fun to keep. I've never kept them, so I've looked at them, I've liked them. I kind of like the idea that when you do speak to people that are into killifish, it's the kind of complete opposite of a discus keeper. So discus keepers will be changing 90% water changes every single day. A killifish keeper will never change water in a year, so that might be an interesting dynamic, who knows. Buy the eggs off eBay, Colin. Who's Colin? But yeah, killifish eggs, yeah, that's what I've been looking at. Koi, yeah, I don't think koi will fit in there. Hey, I did have a conversation with my kids though the other day. So we've got a little back garden out there, and I've always gone on about getting a pond in there. But we've got this big, massive 15-foot trampoline in there that the kids have always loved. And we made a deal that when they didn't use it for a year, or they got fed up with it, then the trampoline goes and a pond comes in. And we had a conversation about it the other day, and they haven't used it for months and months, and obviously it's getting into winter now, so they're not going to use it, but they're quite happy to get rid of the trampoline. So fingers crossed, next spring you'll see some pond videos on my channel about me planning a pond and putting a pond in. I don't know I'll get one big enough to have koi in it. I'd love to, but I need to convince the good lady wife. I've taken up a quarter of the garden for it, but we'll see. Simple Fish Life is on his third rum and coke. Well, this is my second Still Artois. I know I don't like product so you can tell it's my second. I don't like product placements, but if Stella want to sponsor this stream, I would be more than happy with that. Alright, so e-money's coming from the point of view of too much beef heart affects the water quality, which is true, because if you chuck in a load of beef heart and the fish don't eat it, then yes, it will affect water quality. That's why discus keepers do massive water changes. But it's the same with any food. It doesn't matter if it's beef heart. Discus is a big fish. It's got to eat a lot of food. So you have to put in a lot of food, and then it poops out a lot of food if it eats it. So the water is always going to be affected, and it needs really good filtration, and it needs really good water change routines. So I get where you're coming from. I'm just not entirely sure I 100% agree. Gin and tonic for Discus Keeper. Hate gin and tonic. Can't stand it. And now I'm spilling it down my front. This could be a live stream that goes south quickly. You keep golden killifish. Beautiful, fun fish. What? Let me know. What is the secret to keeping killifish? It seems to be any of the videos I watch is people keep them in their cupboard and they like check on them once a week and make sure they're still alive, and that's about it. But some of them are absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I am definitely interested. A long week for you too, Ben, has it? Simple Fish Life. McCann, did you see the co-op video today about the new Hikari pellets? Do you know what? I did see that, and I had already placed an order for that because I was thinking, need to switch it up a bit and try some new foods. So I've got an order in for that already. I'm hoping it's going to arrive tomorrow, and I can either agree with that video and post something, or I can... No, it doesn't work for my Discus. Yeah, we'll need to do a drunk stream one day. We'll get a few of us. We'll all do a collaboration. We'll get some Skype or Facebook chats going, and we can all appear together. I think I've worked out how to do that, so we'll see how it goes. You've ordered some of those pellets off Amazon. Well, good job. They're good. Oh, thank you very much, McCann. Another super chat there. Is it a super chat or is it a live donation? For Killifish or else reimbursement. I will put it to something fishy. Don't you worry. Thank you very much. E-Money's kept Discus before they loved your hard water. I have been on so many discussions and streams and things like that where people say, oh, you need to have X parameters to keep Discus healthy. The only thing I've ever experienced is when you're trying to keep wild fish, they care about the parameters. All the domestic strains, in my experience, so I'm not an expert, I'm just a hobbyist, but in my experience all the domestic strains will live in whatever water you've got. And it's when people chase certain parameters that's when they get into trouble. Because if you're chasing a parameter, it's always slipping and moving one side or the other. If you just give them what you've got, they'll get used to it and they'll thrive 9 times out of 10. As Discus Keeper says, Discus thrive in pretty much any water. Consistency is key. I could not agree more. But, yes. Hit that like button, everyone. Let's see how many we can get up to today. How many have we got on the stream at the moment? We've got 27. I think we've peaked at 35 or 38, I think it was the most that we've ever had on a stream. Let's see if we can hit that like button, hit that share button, let some people know that we're here and we're hanging out, and come and join us. So what else can we talk about today? While we're still talking about this little tank, as well as Killifish, which I'd kind of thought about, and I wasn't entirely sure that that would be the way I'd go. I was thinking a lot of nanofish, because if I plant that up, so you can see, can I get this camera right? Bear with me, this could go horribly wrong. I'm not sure how long this cable is. So you can see there, I've got some stone in there. I'm not entirely sure if it's Ceru stone. It's not as much as I wanted, and I paid a visit to my local fish store today to try and get some more, but they didn't have any, and that's another conversation we need to have there too. But I quite like it. I've got the finger root wood in there. I was going to plant it all up, and I think if I plant that all up, I've got a whole tank of plants that are growing out great with my new CO2 kit. That would look pretty good with some nanofish swimming around. But as you know, I'm now very much a puffer fan as well, so I'm thinking, should we get some pea puffers maybe? Should we get some of the Shudenti puffers or some other kind of puffer? So that's kind of where my head's at the moment. That's not right. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. No, I'm not going to get that back. Close enough. So that's where I'm thinking with that. First decision, should I plant that tank or just leave it as it is? And then what do I stick in it? What are we saying there? Better stable than trying to get the ideal parameters. Again, couldn't agree more. Most fish. Nah, that's probably not true because I don't know about most fish. Most fish I've kept have really appreciated stability and making sure you keep the same parameters. Fiddling with your water too much leads to dead and dying discus. Yes, exactly. Thank you for letting me put my 2 cents in. Love is love, always, everyone. I have no problem with people disagreeing with anything I say or that kind of stuff. It's a free country. If you say something I don't like, I will say I don't like it and call you out on it, and I expect nothing but the same back from everyone else. What's my thoughts in aquarium co-op? What do you mean by that? I'm a fan. I've followed Aquarium Co-op since I think around 6,000 subscribers, and now he's on, what, 250,000 or something like that. He's definitely gone through a change in the way his videos are done, and he puts a lot of thought into what he does. He probably is an expert in a lot of cases, whereas I'm not, obviously. But yeah, I enjoy most of his content. I know a lot of it's geared towards driving sales to his fish shop, and he has a fish shop which is in Washington, I think it is, in America. That's of no interest to me because I can't buy things from that fish shop because I'm 2,500 miles away, but I still enjoy his content. I think it's interesting. I've learned a lot from him. I've based some of the stuff I've done on suggestions he's... The thing I like about Corey and Aquarium Co-op, so apart from the whole shared interest of fish, and I like technology stuff because I work in IT. I think he's an ex-IT person as well. I enjoy photography and making videos and all that kind of stuff, and he obviously does too, and he's put a lot of investment into that, so I've learned a lot from his editor, as much as I have from him. I love that the style of his videos has changed for the better as far as I'm concerned, but I also love the fact that he explains everything he says, and what I mean by that is he doesn't just trot out the conventional wisdom on any old question. He will say, I think the answer to your question is X, and that's because I've done it 5 times and I know 3 other people who've done it that way and it worked for them. Rather than just, well, I looked it up on Google and that's what Google said. And he'll quite happily say, I don't know, if he doesn't know as well. So I think that's important. Green spot puffers, yes. Again, I don't know if that maybe is a bit too small for green spot puffers. Not sure. I don't know whether it's a small tank like that can put up with just being one fish in it. I don't know. I like big tanks that have one fish when it's a massive fish, and I like little tanks with lots of fish so it's always busy. So we'll see where we are. You're a huge fan as well, are you? Yes. Well, it's hard not to be a fan, and because he has good content and good information in there. So, you know. What do I set my heating controllers to? Temp plus or minus? Half a degree. I think it's half a degree. I've not got one in this room, so I can't check for you, but I think it's set to 0.5 degrees either way. I've been getting a lot of questions about heating controllers recently. Loads of comments on my videos, and I've been looking back at some of the videos, and they're terrible. The audio is absolutely rubbish. I'm surprised anybody watches them. I need to remake some of those, and I probably will do. But yeah, I'm a fan of, they're called Elitech STC 1000 heating controllers, which were originally made for people that brew beer and distill alcohol and things like that to maintain a stable temperature for the whatever it is that they're doing, and a few people started using them in aquariums. So nowadays obviously you have your Inkbird temperature controllers and various other versions, which are, I think they're slightly more expensive, I think, but we're not talking about hundreds of pounds for these things. So there's plenty of options out there. I like my Elitex, and I've made a video about how I buy it. I'll go back a step. They were originally made for computers, because they fit in the 3.5-inch slot there, but then people developed them and used them for brewing, and now we use them in aquariums. And I like them because they're easy to work with. You can get a little project box off Amazon for a couple of quid, and you've got quite a slick looking thing. So it's pretty good. Every time I see Aquafunk in a chat anywhere, it just makes me laugh. Every time you comment it, "What's up all you funk nasty fish keeping funkadelics?" That sounds ridiculous coming from me, and I read that in my accent in my head on anyone else's stream and think, God. But I love it, and I love your channel. I've been watching that for a while now. So McCann's got a planted African cichlid tank, including driftwood. Community says no. Exactly. You cannot keep plants with African cichlids. Someone can. Just because the majority of people might claim that it is a no-no. And for one thing, that means the majority of people aren't going to try because everyone's telling them not to bother. But it can be done. I have seen people done it. I'm glad you've been doing it as well. Yeah, Dansfish, nice to see you here. I've never kept killifish. I haven't, no. I don't even know that much. I mean, I know about them, but what I know about them is that they like... No, I'll go back. What I know about them is that people tend to keep them in small tanks that aren't filtered even, or they never do water changes, and they're just kind of left to their own. If I was to keep killifish in that, so give me a suggestion, for instance, would it be your standard? Do you keep them in a big group? Do you keep them with other fish, or is it just one or two on their own in there? I've not looked into it too much. So I'd be interested. I am kind of erring on the puffer side, but you know, I can be convinced. I can get killifish because I know you can either buy the eggs off eBay, or my local fish store has them. Or local fish stores have them, and I've seen them there. And that's where I've been struggling with the puffers. I can't find pea puffers in any of my local fish stores. And talking to them all, they're, oh yeah, we can get them in, but it's a bit of a faff. Oh, you bought a controller after watching my video? A DD controller? I don't know what that is. A DD controller. But I love temperature controllers because I have lost a lot of fish to faulty heaters, even really good heaters like the Eheim Jaegers. I had one of them go on and boil a tank once, and I lost a breeding pair, which I was absolutely gutted about because I'd spent nearly 400 quid on them. So yes, I now run heating controllers on all my important tanks, and then they're all important obviously, but the ones, you know what I mean. So if you haven't looked into heating controllers and you have your fish tank and it's your pride and joy, it's definitely worth investing in them. Two 200 watt heaters. Oh God, I really shouldn't drink on these streams. Two 200 watt heaters in my tank, and if one fails it won't go above 31. Exactly, that's what you want. That's what I like to see, people subbing to each other's channels. Macan subbing to Aquafunk, and back at you. I don't think, Macan, you've not got any videos, have you? Or am I thinking of someone else? I have the power to click a button and go and check your channel. No, you don't have any content. Which is fine. Not everyone can be a vain person like us, video makers. Now this kind of takes me onto a topic that I wanted to touch on. So there's a new Facebook group that's been created for all the small fish tubers. Not necessarily the small fish tubers, the big fish tubers have joined in as well. It's called Team Green Alliance. In fact, let's see if we can have a quick look. I'm kind of ducking and diving like this because I've got one of my lights up here and it's obscuring a little bit of my screen. So the Team Green Alliance, it was started by a couple of guys, Rob DeFries and Rack Cross, who run a couple of channels. They're always kicking about on all the big live streams. They do a lot to spread the awareness of what's going on, who's making videos, letting people know that live streams are going. Obviously, most of it's US based, but I can't fault them for it, and it's really helpful for everyone. My worry is, let's see if we can just switch over to this. My worry is that we're creating a community of people who make fish videos and fish channels, and it's all people who make fish videos and fish channels watching other people that make fish videos and fish channels. And I'm not sure that that's kind of where we want to get to. I want to be making videos that more people are interested in, and I've made the mistake myself where I've talked about how to run a fish channel, I've talked about all the things I do and the equipment I use and all that kind of stuff, which is absolutely boring as hell if you're not running a fish channel, and the majority of people aren't. But yeah, so if you are making a fish channel, or you are making fish related content and trying to share it on YouTube, get yourself across here, because there are people sharing ideas, there's all kinds of stuff going on in there. It's really good community stuff, and it's really good that these guys have taken the time out to do it, and they're trying to push this, and talk about setting goals and all that kind of stuff, which is really important. So I wouldn't be making fishy videos if I didn't have a goal. I don't really care whether I hit it or not. So my goal, for instance, is to hit, well, in 2017 it was to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I think I did it on the Christmas Eve, something like that. So I made a stupid goal that I was going to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I'm probably going to fall a little bit short, but close enough, because I thought it was ridiculous to set a goal that size. But it's important to have a goal, because if you've got nothing to aim for, there's no point in doing it. And I don't really care how many subscribers I get. And since starting this stream, I've lost 6. So I don't know who I've pissed off so far. But it was nice to meet all these other people that are out there that are making videos, and you get to see why are they making videos and what's their motivation. And one of them in here is about making some Killifish videos. I can't remember where it is. If you see, there's me going live in 5 minutes. So this was one of the channels I found earlier today. Will Waterworth. He's called Hobbyist Fish Keeper. I checked out some of his videos, and it was great. Yeah, I enjoyed his videos, so I've subbed up to his channel. So it's great. I love the fact that there are people out there that are trying to point people towards other channels and spread the love, if you like. But no, I don't want to be negative about it at all, because it's a good idea. Oh, I've got a message for review. So yeah, it is a good idea to share this, and if you're a small channel and you're trying to share it and trying to get out there, it's really hard to get over those first few humps. So if you've got 100 subscribers, that's your goal, and you get there, and then you want 500, then you want 1,000, because at 1,000 now you can monetize and things like that, and it's always nice to be able to buy a little bit of fish food from what you're doing. So check it out if you are. So Ben, Simple Fish Life, any of the other channels out there that you're struggling to get your message out there, there's some guys there that will help you out and point you in the right direction. So it is a good thing. Aquafunk boiled a pair of breeding Vale's Super Red Angels. Yeah, I was gutted when I lost my breeding pair. And I've lost a breeding pair, and the reason I was gutted is because I'm Scottish and they cost almost £400, so it properly put me out. But it's never nice to lose a fish. So Monkey Nuss just posted a link there. Let me just go and check this out quickly. Ah, the DD heating controller. Alright. It looks similar to one that I've seen, but I didn't recognise the name. Let's see if we can have a look at that. So it looks like a slicker version of what I use, the STC 1000. UK and EU models. No wiring required. That's the one drawback of the STC. It's all very much manual and very much doing your own soldering and cutting up extension leads to make it work and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if that works out of the box, that'd be perfect. Looks good. Looks good. Powerful Lance. That's another great name. Hey Lance. Any of you got experience running Fluval 3.0 freshwater lights? I've heard great things about them, but I do not have any experience of them, I'm afraid. How to keep killifish. Clean water, good food, temps in the mid 70s Fahrenheit. So that's what, low 20s centigrade? You'll have to excuse me, us Europeans in our centigrades. Tight lid, so the jumpers, yep. Plants or spawning mops or other cover. Yeah, Aquafunk. I watched a video with Rob93 the other day. I spend a lot of time trying to get people that don't have a tank so that we can spread the hobby and not just make videos for people that already know the same stuff. Yeah, that's kind of where I was coming from there. Over here we say, teaching your granny to suck eggs. There's no point in me making a video about how to look after Discus if the only people that are going to watch it are people who already know how to look after Discus. So if I do that, one of my best performing videos is Discus Fish Basics, how Discus 101 or something along those lines. Can't even remember what I called it. But if you already keep Discus, then you're the person that goes on there and comments that I've said something wrong, or you don't agree with one of the points I've made. If you don't, or you've just bought Discus from a local fish shop, or you've just come into it, then you're going to get a lot more out of that. And so that's the audience you need to aim for. So I want to keep happy, and I don't know if maybe the live streams is the way to do it for people that are into things, and we can just get in and have a bit of a chat and have a laugh, and then make the videos about more generic things or more inclusive things for people that don't necessarily already know most things. Because let's put it this way, if you're here at 11:15 on a Friday night, now I know people are across the world and it's different times everywhere, but if you're here at this time and you're a UK person, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're into fish already, so anything that I say here isn't really going to be groundbreaking because you probably know it all already. So we can just hang out and have a bit of a laugh. Oh, Hobbyist Fish Keepers here. Glad you enjoyed them. Yes, I did. Yeah, they were really good. I think you used your phone to take your videos, but really good quality. I liked your wish video, so yeah, post a link, I'll approve it, or however it is you do that. Made a video about ordering a load of fish stuff off Wish, and I've done the same thing, and I wish I'd thought to make a video about it. And I think you got 7 items and 3 of them worked and the rest of them were crap. My experience was very similar. Yes. The one thing I would say is your audio was really, really quiet, and I had to turn it up, way up full to be able to hear you. So when you're editing your videos, maybe put a little more oomph in the volume, and then you'll be sorted. Let's see, where are we at? Who's Colin? I keep saying the name Colin, but I'm not seeing a person called Colin. I'm obviously missing something. I'm feeling a bit daft. Powerful Lance is off, but not because I pissed him off, just because it's dinner time. Well, nice to have you for a little while at least. Aquafunk's got a bounce. I can't do the accent, no. Stay funky, fish freaks. We'll try. Love that guy. Every stream I've ever been in, he always comments like that, and I just repeat whatever it is he says in my head, and it sounds ridiculous and makes me laugh. I'm not having a go at you. It's just, I guess it's that British thing of bit too reserved to use that accent. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you again. Oh, you've done a Killifish. Oh, yes, you have. That was the reason that I started thinking about Killifish. So, Hobby's Fish Keeper, he bought eggs from eBay, and that was the thing. So, for people who have just turned up, you'll notice the Discus pair have gone. I'm trying to think what to put in here instead. So, I've spent the afternoon doing a bit of scaping, watching a load of George Farmer videos on how to scape. I'm one big rock shy of that being happy, or me being happy with that. So we'll see how we get on. And I noticed that you had done a Killifish video, and that's what put me on to thinking about it. So yes, I will definitely check that out a bit more. So yeah, see you, Lance. Thanks for stopping by. The dog listening and learns a lot of this stream. Well, animals, they all count. Oh, we've got GH Aquatics. Hello there. Nice to see you again. You made me laugh with your comment the other day that you like my channel, you're just trying to stay on my good side so I don't say anything nasty to you. I would never do anything like that. I'm a nice guy. I'm only going to share love and positivity from now on. Who else have we got? Oh, Dean's Fish Room. Nice to see you, Dean. I'm a big Wild Discus fan. You love my logo and you've got one of my t-shirts. Really nice. Have you? Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm a big Wild Discus fan. I've just not got any. That's the shame of it. I've taken your comments to heart, Dean. So I'll give you the backstory for everyone else. A few weeks ago, my middle son made a video about his fish. So it was in my fish room, and he took a video, and it was great. And I posted it on one of the Facebook groups and said, go and check out and give it a like. And we got all the likes from all the big guns. So Aquarium Co-op came and left them a comment. Yeah, there was a few on there. It was great, and one of them was from Dean. And the little git said, I've checked out one of your videos. Your fish room's hell of a lot cleaner than my dad's fish room. And I was like, you little. But Dean replied to that comment and said, yes, spend 15 minutes a day, something along the lines. In fact, let's go and have a look at what that was. So he gave me some advice there that I wasn't upset about at all, but you're right, and I've resolved to actually do it. So this is my middle son here. Oh no, I'll have to. Yes, I have. And he's basically going around feeding all my tanks. And if you look through the comments here, we've got Creative Pet Keeping, Jay Wilson, Aquarium Co-op, KG Tropicals, Robert Kerr, which is my dad, so it's his granddad, and Dean's Fish Room. Nice job, some pretty cool fish too. So thank you for that, because it did make his day. But I've said it before, but he was basically walking around saying, well, this is the fish equivalent of PewDiePie commenting on my videos, it's great. So I showed him a couple of your videos, and he's commented on there. Thanks. My dad showed me your fish room. It's much cleaner than my dad's. I was like, you little. So there's me saying, yeah, it's not dirty, it's just well used. And Dean replied again, I find when it's clean and organised I have a much better breeding result. Still, there are times when it gets a bit of a mess. And he's replied to me there, yes, but just 5 minutes a day spent organising will reap huge rewards within a month's time. And I've started that. So I've taken your words to heart, and I have resolved that the next fish room video that you see from me will have a lot more organisation. And I struggle because it's also my garage, and it has to have all the tools and all the spare paint and the paintbrushes and all that kind of stuff in there. Let me just turn this off because it's gone wrong somewhere. So it's a dual purpose fish room, if you like. But I'm going to try and get it back, and if it does mean that I then get lots of better results with breeding, that can only be a good thing. Because if you've just joined, this used to be a breeding tank in here because I had grand plans for spawning on queue. I think it was just a bit too much high traffic now, so I've moved them back down into the fish room. And hopefully we'll get some discus movement in there again. Joseph, the Wish app is crap. It is. I mean, there are some bargains on there, but you really need to make sure that they're not just out to scam you, because it seems lots of things where you assume you're going to get one thing and it turns up it's another. So I think even the video I watched earlier was about filter media, where you were expecting 10 bags of filter media, but you actually got 10 pieces of filter media. That's my experience, that they're trying to... You thought I was Colin. No, I'm Graham. At least we cleared that up. Jason Smith, nice to see you. Late but here, no worries. Lurking while cooking down the wormhole, nice to see you again, D. Oh, there's Joseph saying hello to Dean, and some of those, I'm going to call them, what do we call them? Blue tetras? Because I can't pronounce Tichiocharax tambopatensis. What else is going on? Yeah, Dean saying yes, he was so cute. He does play on that a lot. Angelo's fish tanks on his way home from work. Let me know what time it is wherever you are, because it's interesting to see who's actually here, because obviously it's getting pretty late here. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. It's interesting what time it is and what everyone's doing and why you listen at this point as well. Who's fetching your beers? No one. I'm running low. But I did think ahead and I bought the extra big bottles, so I think we'll be alright. Yes, I'm Graham. Not Graham, Graham, the Scottish way, or the proper way as I like to say it. Aldine says his garage is a disaster zone. One of my next clean-up projects. Yeah, that was very much what it was like for me as well. 5:53 where you are, Angelo. So, what else have we got to talk about? There was one thing I wanted to mention. Well, no, there were several things I wanted to mention, but we'll see how far we get. We talked about the Team Green Alliance, which I fully support. I'm just a bit worried that it's fish people sharing videos with fish people, and I want to make sure that we're concentrating our efforts on helping the newbies, because I think that's where we get the most value. So if we're helping new people, then that can only be a good thing. But if we're helping people that are struggling to get the content out, and it's quality content, then you can't complain about that. Oh, we've got some Killifish information here. I shall read that in a second. I wanted to give an honourable mention to Aaron's Aquariums. I've mentioned them before in some of my previous fart videos. And if you don't know what I'm on about, fish and related things, it's not just me being rude. He's another UK YouTuber, fish YouTuber, predominantly saltwater stuff. He put a bit of an update out recently where he's lost, well, the first update was that he's had a tank wipe out to velvet. He thought, I think it's limited to 15 or 13 fish, I think it was. I'm sorry, I can't quite remember. But he's one of the most enthusiastic UK fish tubers. He puts a lot of effort in. He goes up and down the country constantly filming new content, trying to give out new information, trying to help those newbies. A lot of it's based towards driving towards the newbie, how to get set up to take the pressure off, that it's not as difficult as it needs to be all the time. And he's got a big massive tank, I think it's a 7-foot tank, reef tank, full of corals, full of fish, and he's lost the majority of them. So if anyone is around that can put a mod, I'm going to have to get rid of this thing. Go along to his channel, give him a message of support. I know it will make a big difference to him. I've had it happen to me where, was it last Christmas or the Christmas before, I had gone back to Scotland to visit the family and came back, and while I was away my big display tank had sprung a leak and it's gone down to like 1/4 of an inch of water in there, and all the fish were dead. I think I lost 15 discus, something along those lines. and I was absolutely gutted, and it kind of made me want to pack in altogether. So if I can give Michael Aaron's his name, if we can give him a little bit of support, just go along to his channel, leave a little bit of a message saying, tell him, well, you don't even need to tell him I sent you along. Say you heard about his problems, keep your chin up, and see if it makes him feel a little bit better about it, because I'm gutted for him. I've met him once. I met him in Telford at the show that they have down there, which is kind of our version of your the Jersey show that you were all in earlier. Give him a bit of a message, make him feel better. He deserves it for all the effort that he puts in. Where can you get blackworm from? I buy it from, where do I get it from? So there's a local pet shop to me that sells it, the live blackworm. I'm not sure. I've bought the dried I've bought the dried blackworm off eBay before, and that's fine. The one tip that I've got for that is make sure that you soak it beforehand, because it tends to expand a little bit. So if you don't, I've caused bloat in a few cases. Otter Creek Aquatics, Team Green. See, there you go. We're talking about the Team Green stuff. Yeah, sad news for him. Feel bad for him. He is a top bloke. And is my favourite UK fish tuber. Tom Whittaker. So here's someone that has no interest in fish whatsoever. He's probably just watching so he can take the piss out at me at a later date. Love you, G, Karen and Tom. Thank you very much for watching. At least you got my numbers up a little bit. Is Aaron from Bolton? I think he's from Manchester. So it's close to Bolton, I suppose. Are you a Bolton one? I detected a Bolton accent in your videos. I spend a lot of time in Bolton. They're one of my clients at work. I was there yesterday, in fact. Dan's Fish, good evening. Yeah, Manchester, I think that's where he's from. So, Tom, what are you doing tonight? This is kind of like us going out for a pint, I suppose. If you've got a beer, I've got a beer. Oh, bloody hell, Stuart Pollock as well. It's going to get embarrassing now. So this is when all my non-fishy friends start piling in and point fingers at me and call me embarrassing. But I've got over it now, I'm afraid. I am what I am. I'm a weird fish guy. Nice to see you, Stu, anyway. Ah, you're from Wigan, right. A pie eater, yes. I've heard them call people from Wigan pie eaters. Jeff Rose. Now, what do I make of that comment? Is there a shine? There's a bit of a shine. I need to show you this. In fact, let's have a look. I'm going to do the whole thing again. So, I've got these lights that I got from eBay or something, or Amazon or something like that, where my wife bought me them. It's these things here. They're like these LED lights. And I have literally taped a bit of this paper to them as a diffuser, and this is the stuff you get. I don't know if this is a worldwide thing or not, but hammer beads. I don't know if you know what hammer beads are. Those little beads, you put them on a board and then you iron them, so it's like greaseproof paper type stuff that you put on top of them. I'll cock that up every single time. So I'm using them as lighting diffusers. I don't... Oh no, that looks terrible now. Okay, I've broken it. Okay, bad angle, but there you go. So I've got a couple of those lights. I've got one there, I've got one there, shining on my shiny dome. Doesn't look too bad, I suppose. Why is that gone all bright all of a sudden? Oh well. Okay, Stuart, hit me. What's your fish questions? The nose shines more. Yeah, it does a bit. I'm blessed with a large nose. You call them Discus divas. You call what Discus divas? I've missed something. Or the people that say, well, what have we got here? So, Stuart Pollock, gee, I'm thinking about getting a saltwater tank. Had a fish only with live rock about 10 years ago. Where's good in South Yorkshire? Fit filtration. Let's see, can we master another transition? They are the place that I got my big display tank. So I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, but they're tank builders. They're over near Meadowhall Retail Park, just round the corner across the road from the arena, next to that pub. They started selling fish about a year ago, but they do everything. So fish, well, in fact, let's see what their website says. Plumbing, lighting, foods, pumps, skimmers, reactor, filtration, all that kind of stuff. They do that. They do have quite a lot of livestock as well. I think they've got, well, must have about 30 or 40 fairly decent sized tanks in there with all kinds of fish. It's worth a visit, if nothing else. Tell them I sent you, and you might even get a discount. God knows I've spent enough money with them. So yeah, that's where I got my big display tank, which I'm using as a freshwater tank. But they are saltwater specialists. What's the current fish that brings your passion for the hobby out? So obviously I'm a discus guy, that's my main thing. But I'm really loving the puffer. So if you don't know, I've got a Fahaka puffer, which I bought as a tiny little thing. It was about this size. He's growing brilliantly. It's just so interactive. And that's the reason that I'm thinking of puffers for this tank. So pea puffers or something along those lines. Because every puffer I've ever seen has been up at the glass. It's usually feed me, but it feels like they're playing with you, and it feels like it's a little bit like having a dog. So where the discus is a bit like a cat, where they're very much like, yeah, whatever. The puffers are like, yay, hello, I love you, no matter what, I've not seen you for 10 minutes, So I have a passion for discus, but I'm really enjoying the puffers, I guess. You like my videos because I say things like a bit daft. That's not a bit daft to say a bit daft, is it? John Floyd Man 77, bit late for the show, but what's going on? Love the t-shirt. Yes, it's my favourite comfy t-shirt. A bit of Pink Floyd, can't go wrong. Hey, how's business? It's alright. Yeah, definitely, Stuart. Have a look at Fit Filtration. It's a really nice shop. Staff are very helpful. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I went to my favourite local fish store today, and I witnessed some brilliant advice and some terrible advice all at the same time. So I went to try and get some more of this rock. I was hoping that I could pick up, like I said earlier, a big massive piece of it. But I've come up with a new business plan. So some of you may know that I have a little sideline business where I do fish tank maintenance and fish tank consultancy or whatever it is. I'm kind of thinking about just hanging around outside fish stores saying, don't do what they told you to do this instead. Because some of the advice that they were giving out was a bit like, oh, cringe, I've done a video review of this place and said it was really good, and now you're telling people, oh no. So I'll not mention the name of the store, but I'm still going to give them my business because I think they're good in general, but every fish store's the same, isn't it? The good thing about my visit earlier today was there was 2 people while I was there that were buying new tanks afresh, and there was 1 person that was in there with a problem. And it was mobbed. It was absolutely mobbed. There was another 3 or 4 people in there milling about buying fish, doing whatever it was in there. The people that were buying tanks, brand new, were obviously completely new. They were there with their little kids. Oh, we want to get some goldfish for little Johnny. They were like, no, I'm not going to sell you a goldfish because the tank that you've just told me you're interested in won't fit a goldfish in it. And I know that you're a new fish keeper, so you need to go away and do a cycle before I'm going to sell you some fish. So I thought, that's brilliant. But at the same time, the person that came in with a problem was getting his water tested, and they tested his pH and it was something like 3.2. And he says, well, that's a little bit low, and asked him to get some plants or something along those lines. And I was like, that's not, in what way is that connected at all? And there was another person in that was saying, I've got a load of, what was it he said? I've got a load of Nemos in my tank, and I want to buy some of these Dianas. And after about 5 minutes of me eavesdropping, obviously, at the side, and after about 5 minutes of this, it turned out Nemos meant neon tetras, and Dianas meant Danios. So that's just by the by. But the advice that they were giving out just wasn't up to par. They were selling, you know, those Drachnia plants, the ones that they always sell in Pets at Home and places like that. They're like £5 for a plant, and you know it's going to melt away and die within a week because they're not truly aquatic plants. They were selling a load of them. They were talking about filtration and saying, well, as long as you put fish food in for a week, then you put your fish in. I was like, that's Pets at Home stuff again, you're going wrong. So I was a little bit gutted that what was becoming my favourite fish shop was going. I don't know if it's just because they were super busy and they were getting confused about what customer was doing what. But yeah, I was a little bit upset about that. Let's have a little back in here. I just had to look at that twice there. What place are you 6th born from? What place are you 6th born from? Now you're going to have to ask that question again with more words in it. There's something fishy about this stream. There's something fishy about that question. Can you tell me a fish to get, please, fella? You're going to need to give me a little bit more information on that. What kind of fish do you want? What kind of fish have you already got? What kind of tank have you got? Or is that an example of your local fish store? So Dean's got some wild-caught killies from Peru that he's going to rehome to someone. Well, if you weren't 3,000 miles away from me, I'd love to be that someone, but I suspect that might be a trip too far. Yes, if you're enjoying the live stream, I really need to get better at this. Click that like button, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't subbed, sub, etc, etc. Oh my god. No, that's my bad maths. I've lost 8 subscribers since we started this live stream. These live streams are doing wonders for my channel. Am I really that unlikable? HC Aqua, hello. Adam78, good evening. How are we doing? I think we're I'm definitely getting to the end of the beer. I'm not going to last much longer before I need to visit the little boy's room. So let's open the floor up to any questions or any other business. What else do we want to talk about? I'm just now going through my list of things that I noted down that I wanted to make sure we covered. Aaron's Aquarium, yeah, again, jump over to Aaron's Aquarium's channel, let him know that you appreciate his stuff. yeah, so what else have we got going on in the chat? I need to wrap this up shortly because I don't think my bladder can take much more. Gee, do you know the LFS well enough to approach him and try and set up some education meetings with the staff? I've seen Rachel O'Leary do this with the chain stores. Not a bad idea. I don't know that I do know him well enough yet, but I think I'm getting there. It's one of my... It was becoming my favourite local fish store. It's usually very clean, it's usually really well kept. The discussions I've had with the people that work there, the guy that owns it, and it's a guy and his wife that run this place. They've always been on the ball, and I felt like it. I knew what was going on, they knew what was going on. So that's why I'm hesitant to say too much bad about it. It may have just been a bad day. They were super busy, the place was rammed. It just gave me a bad feeling, so that might be something that I mentioned. I was doing that thing where I was stood in the background going, don't say anything, no, don't get involved, but you just want to jump in and say, that's bollocks, everything they've said's wrong. So, yeah, maybe I might have a quiet word next time I'm in when it is a bit empty. My head's big enough, I don't want to go in there going, well, I'm an expert in these matters. That's not the way to handle it. Yeah, so Simple Fish Life, I'm the same, always seem to lose subs after a live or a video. Yeah, I mean, losing subs is not something that I'm unfamiliar with. I have picked topics in the past which have been objectionable to many fans of certain people. So yeah, I get that. I thought live streams were really liked by YouTube, but yeah, who knows. I don't mind. I mean, life doesn't begin and end on how many subscribers you've got on your fish channel. It's not the end of the world, is it? How does this time work for everyone? Is this a normal time for you? Is this a good time to have a live stream? I'm trying to pick a regular spot. My grand plan is to have one proper normal video a week and one live stream a week, where the live stream's just a bit of a laugh, hanging out, and the video's about a subject, whatever that may be. But I need to pick a time, and I don't want to piss off someone else by picking a time that someone else is streaming. Either I'm going to piss them off about it, or I'm going to take viewers away from them, or they're going to take viewers away from me, more likely. I think this time is normally when Michael Aarons from Aarons Aquariums is doing a live stream, so maybe a Saturday night at the similar time once all the kids have gone to bed. Can you put the puffer in your main tank with the Discus? I don't think so. You could probably handle the temperature, because I was unwittingly running his tank at 29 degrees for quite a while. It's not ideal, but Discus will prefer the higher temperatures. Fahaka puffers don't mind higher temperatures, but it's probably not ideal for long term. Plus, they're mean little gets, and we'll probably take a chunk out of them every now and again. He's doing really well, actually. Since I've moved them off live food onto frozen foods and pellets and things like that, he's starting to take a lot more of them. But when I initially got him, he was having guppies and feeder fish and things like that, and it's got puffers have got really sharp beaks, the front teeth, so they crush snails and they crush clams and things like that, and you need to give them hard food so they wear that down. You don't have to manually go and file their beaks or cut their teeth. So there are certain puffers that will live happily in community tanks. The Fahaka puffer's not one of them normally, but this guy, he lives in there with a ghost knife fish at the moment, and that's got big flowy fins and they get on fairly well. I don't know that I'm brave enough to try it with my Discus because they're quite expensive, but eventually he is going to need a tank that size because they do get quite big. The Fahakas can get up to kind of 2 foot range. So he's going to need a big tank, but no, I'm not sure that they'll work together there. You never know, I might make the world's most viral video of Fahaka puffer kept with Discus, bloodbath. So people like the time, so I might try this again. We'll see. Again, I don't want to step on Aaron's Aquarium toes, but that is a saltwater channel, so he has got lots of reef guys in there, so that might be fine. It kind of works for me. Unless, of course, Tom or Stu want to fancy going out for a beer on a Friday evening, like the old days when we used to do things like that. We could try that. Yeah, weird seeing people in the chat and not on screen. Yeah, you're right. I keep seeing these names and think, oh yeah, I watch your videos. And now you're here watching me talk nonsense. Oh, Bentley Pasco, how you doing there? Oh, I need to pick your brains about some plants and things like that, but I don't think my bladder can handle it, so I'm afraid I think we're going to have to call time there. So unless anyone's got some urgent questions or queries or anything you want to say, let me know in the chat now, or forever hold your peace, because I think I'm about to burst. And that's what 2 pints of beer does. But if you haven't, as always, smash that like button, hit that subscription bell, share this, share that, all the good things. Yeah, I prefer a beer as well. Maybe we could do a drunk cast where we have one fish keeper, one potential fish keeper, and one doesn't care about fish keepers, and then we'll all talk about these things. You've been shipping some livestock, have you, Joseph? Anyway, right. Got to call time on it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you were entertained. You probably didn't learn anything, but who knows. As always, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. If you're watching this on the replay, put something in the comments, give me some new channels to check out, and we will catch up again next week. Maybe next week will be fart number 6, the drunk cast. We can all start a little bit earlier. I know if you're in various places in the world, that will be a bit strange, because it might be 8 o'clock in the morning where you are, so that might not work. But yes, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.